The world of roller coasters has seen giants come and go, but few have made a lasting impact such as Togo. From an unmatched peak of thrill and innovation to a dramatic fall, Togo's story is as thrilling as the rides they once created. Today on Park Pulse, we'll take you on a roller coaster ride that was Togo's journey from its audacious beginnings to its heartbreaking end.
Will you look back when you're old and gray and think those dumb kids had a lot to say? Well, we were trying to make this night one you'd remember. I don't care if my wheels don't turn, I don't care if my pipe don't burn, as long as I am flowing through your veins after I'm gone away.
It's Thursday night, and you know what that means.
And I'm excited for this week. But first, we've got Joke of the Week. And for anyone, I know some people didn't watch last week because we may have had plus 18 content. In the end, it wasn't too bad. But one of the jokes we had last week wasn't that bad, so I'm going to play it again. So shout out to Andy from Coastal with the Joneses. Yeah. So what's it time for?
Joke of the Week.
What's the difference between a hormone and an enzyme? You can't make an enzyme.
It's the eyebrows.
It's the eyebrows
I'm sorry,
every time.
it's so to do the eyebrows.
But without further ado, this is probably our biggest viewer from not in the UK. So I'm glad to finally have him on the show. We have got Trey from Park Pass. How you doing, Trey?
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good,
All
Jim.
right, yeah.
How is it? Are you in Cincinnati?
Just outside, yeah.
What's the weather like?
I think it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit today. I'm not sure what that is Celsius.
I would say 30, but
Well, that's about 28. I know 82 and 28, you flip the numbers, and that's how I remember.
We're about the same, I think, at the minute. It's just suddenly shot up.
I've got quite a few things I want to talk about. But first, I've got, there aren't too many videos on your channel yet, so I've got highlights of a couple of them, some from the sign place and some from another where we can talk about it. It was the last dispatch of a certain ride, and then we can talk about it. But I'll play it first for everyone at home. It's about a minute long. Ooh. And we'll take a look at some clips from your channel.
We're here at the American Sign Museum here in Cincinnati today. Come along, I'll show you around. Here's some examples of non-lit signs and some lit signs. A lot of different lettering used over the years.
Are you kidding me?
Here we have some of the old Burma shave signs. Here we have a 1960s Frisch's Big Boy. It's out front of the restaurants here in Cincinnati. For watching today. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a like. Make sure you guys subscribe to see more videos like this. I'll see you guys next time.
That is very cool. I love the signs.
I just want to say hello to everyone who's joined the chat, and some of them joined during that video of the last dispatch of that ride where it had the song from Titanic in the background. So I don't know what their thinking's going on. But do you want to describe what that about that ride?
Yeah, so that was Firehawk at Kings Island. So I worked there at Kings Island for about 4 years. And the night that ride closed, they let all the employees ride it. And so that last cycle, that was the last cycle the ride ever did, was all of the employees that worked that specific ride for that year.
Oh, it's really sentimental, isn't it? It's just like, oh.
So I want to ask, what's your earliest memory of going to a theme park or being at a theme park? Do you remember your earliest memory?
So my earliest memory that I really remember, I know I went before this, but was in 2010, Kings Island had redone their kids area from being Nickelodeon to being Snoopy characters like it is now. And I just remember riding the Beast and it being really an intense ride. And that's the ride I ended up working when my time at Kings Island, and just being tall enough to ride some of those bigger rides and how fun they were.
So what's your favorite roller coaster now? Moving on from that.
So sentimentally, I think the Beast is my favorite ride. There definitely is better rides than the Beast. Probably number one right now is probably Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point or the Voyage at Holiday World.
Hmm.
Do you prefer? I don't want to downplay Kings Island, but compared to say like Universal and Disney, do you prefer the?
Oh,
I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say smaller parks, but it's got a different vibe to it. Do you prefer that to the Disneys and the Universals?
The smaller parks are nice for better things. Like Kings Island has a lot better thrill rides than Universal or Disney would have. But I feel like Disney, obviously the theming is so intense, is the word I would use for it at those parks. So it's just whatever you prefer, really.
So
yeah.
because I've just mentioned Disney, we are going to mention the Kings Island announcement if no one knows about it. I think a lot of people already know about it.
Oh, go on then. What's
But
the
well, that'll keep you hooked. But I thought I'd get some photos up because we've mentioned Disney, and you took. Hang on, get rid of this overlay. You took your family there, and I've got some photos, and I thought it was really cute. But there's one photo in particular that I thought was really cute that you sent me. It was when you're meeting Fantasia. Is it Fantasia Mickey Mouse? I don't know if there's another name for him.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Sorcerer.
Apprentice.
But what was... Because did you visit Disney before you had children?
So I first went when I was 18, so we didn't have kids yet. But we've had annual passes the past 5 years, and we've pretty much went once or twice a year. She turns a year old in a couple of weeks, so she's been 3 times already.
Oh, that's so cute. Sorry.
So, is it very different perspective once you've got kids to when you went before you had kids?
You see things differently, I feel like you enjoy some of those things that are targeted towards kids a lot more when you have kids that you really wouldn't appreciate without kids.
Yeah. She looks quite giggly, actually. I think seeing Mickey.
Yeah, we were worried about how she'd react to the characters, but she loved them. A lot of kids get really scared of them, so
it's like face open and like ah.
Have you got a
proper excited little one? Have
you got a favourite yourself?
A favourite character?
Yeah, cast member to meet at the park.
Not necessarily. There's a lot of at Epcot they do training sometimes there, and they'll have characters that they usually wouldn't have that kind of just come out for like 5 minutes, and they have really short lines. So those characters are kind of neat to meet because you really wouldn't meet them otherwise, but you really don't know what you're going to get when it comes to those, and it's so rare that you never know when they're going to be out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good as well.
With the
was that the
British telephone box?
Was that the UK pavilion? I guess.
Yeah, that's for the UK pavilion.
British accent.
I've taken a picture with. They have a set right there where there's one of them, and a set on the other side where there's 2 of them. And I've taken a picture there every year we went to Disney, so it's kind of shown the progression of my first trip there. And now that we're having kids, we keep adding them to the pictures now too.
Discover Explore 5's put Teacups ride, kids' favorite.
I hate those teacups rides.
Yeah.
She liked it, but I hate those rides.
I was going to say, it's always either the child likes it and then the parents like, oh, but then all the other way around, where they like it but the child doesn't.
I don't know if...
There's never an in-between, I
don't know if Trey's the same or people at home are the same, but I find I loved those rides when I was, say, a teenager, and now when I go on them, once I've been on like a couple, I can feel it. I don't want to go on any more spinny rides. I don't know if you're the same, Trey.
Well, and at Disney, the rides... regardless of what the ride is, the line's going to be 30 minutes at least, and I don't want to wait 30 minutes for teacups.
Yeah. Which is your favorite park at Disney World? The MA Travelers.
Epcot is my favorite, with Animal Kingdom being a close second.
Oh.
What are your opinions on Hollywood Studios? Because that always seems to get left out when people talk about Disney World. So I wonder what you think about it.
So my wife has a lot of like happy memories at Hollywood Studios. She kind of grew up going to Disney all the time. But for me, it's I've only experienced the new Hollywood Studios, and really, it's probably my least favorite park. But I think that they're kind of getting better with Star Wars and Toy Story. I think Toy Story was kind of a sad land when it first opened, but now that the trees and stuff are starting to grow there, it's kind of a little bit more bearable in the Florida heat.
And have you been to any European parks yet?
I have not been yet, but I'm going to try to plan a trip out in the next couple of years.
Have you got your eyes on any in Europe that you've
I'd like to go to Alton Towers.
Oh. I don't know if you said that just because of the audience.
No, it's been, Alton Towers is kind of one of those parks that you kind of see a lot of in the States. We got a lot of advertisements actually for Alton Towers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
I think I get a lot of targeted ads like on the internet and stuff for Alton Towers because, most of my stuff I look at is all amusement park stuff, but I've looked at some videos and I think it seems kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Have you seen the likes of Europa Park and Phantasialand and things like that?
So I haven't seen Europa Park much, but Phantasialand recently, I've seen a lot of the stuff they've added. It looks pretty nice there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on social media have been posting a lot about Phantasialand.
Since I've got this slide up, before we get into Kings Island or Top Thrill 2, I want to talk about your trip to the. I don't want to get the name wrong. What was the actual name of the museum?
The American Sign Museum.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about? Yeah.
So it has signs. I think they said they go back to 1860 is the earliest signs they have. But they have a lot of signs from all over the country, mostly Los Angeles, actually. But it only costs, I think it was either $5 or $15 per person. And I really wasn't expecting much, but it was actually a really nice experience there, seeing the progression of signs, the history of how they worked on signs and produced signs. And then also they have a little shop there where they still actually make neon signs there on site.
Yeah. Oh, I love neon signs.
That's fantastic,
I'm quite honest. Oh, I wish we'd have something like that in the UK.
And also, I kind of didn't want to get too many highlights because your channel's sort of fairly new, and I wanted people to have something they'd not seen me show to go and see. But I didn't. If anyone saw the start, instead of someone saying it's Thursday night, I actually showed the first 10 to 15 seconds of his Togo documentary, which I think is really good. And it's only about 5 minutes, to be fair. And I think it's. Do you want to quickly plug that before we move on, Trey?
Yeah, so it's about a 5-minute documentary. I just tried to kind of summarize Togo's rise in the 30s and 60s through the 70s, and their fall and kind of their decline in the early 2000s. It's a real quick video if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do more of that style? Because I really like the style of it.
I think I'm going to focus kind of on that style. Actually, it's a little bit easier for me. I don't have a lot of free time, so it's easier to make this kind of videos for me than it is to go to a park and make a video there.
Kirsty's with more about the neon signs. I have heard of that place actually, and I don't know if I came across it when I was training in London at one point. Maybe worth a look on that one. Might have to make a trip down there with the whole signage.
And Discover Explorers said there's a place in Las Vegas that has all the old neon signs too. Have you been to Vegas yourself, Trey?
I have never been to Vegas. Vegas is about as far from me as the UK is.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, Hush Hush is back.
Oh, hey, Hush Hush.
Been to Fantasy Island recently. So we're gonna talk about Top Thrill 2 first, because I think the other announcement is a little bit more exciting. What I will say is I'm going to play the advert that I've got here from Cedar Point. The sound might be quite loud.
Just turn it
It
down
shouldn't be too
loud.
loud, but it might be louder than you expect. It might not be, but just in
a
case it
little bit.
is, this is the official trailer. If you have not seen it, just so you know what we're talking about.
Experience.
Yeah, let's go.
Experience the excitement, the speed, the adrenaline of high-performance racing on an all-new vertical speedway. Introducing Top Thrill 2, the world's tallest and fastest triple-launch stratocoaster. Buckle in and smoke the competition on this extreme motorsport machine. Launch 3 times at speeds reaching 120 miles per hour. Drive the sky at 420 feet. pump the brakes, cross the finish line, take that victory lap. Get revved up on Top Thrill 2, coming to Cedar Point, 2024.
Wow. Just to point it out here, a lot of people have just seen a picture of that and gone, oh, look, it's Stealth Mark II, an American version.
Well, no.
But
Top Thrill was a
actually,
band before Stealth.
I didn't know it did the whole thing where it went back and then back, back up again as well. So I was just like, oh.
I'm assuming you've ridden Top Thrill Dragster when it was around, Trey.
Yes, I did a couple times, actually.
What do you think about Top Thrill 2?
I think it could have been done better. I understand that they had constraints, that they had to switch from the hydraulic launch to the magnetic launch after the accident. And I think they should have made the first launch on it a little bit more intense to go a little higher up the top hat. But I think overall it'll be a pretty good thing. Besides, I worry about the occupancy of it, how quickly they can get those trains put through there and what its capacity is going to be.
Just because Coaster with the Joneses mentioned it, is it a similar thing in this? We have one about half the size in this country called Stealth, and people are always wanting to get a rollback, and that's the dream. I don't know if is there a similar thing in the States when people ride King Dakar and used to ride Top Thrill Dragster where they wanted a rollback, and now it's led to this.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of people making T-shirts right now that say I had a rollback before it was cool, but I mean I never got one. I have on other rides before, but I don't get the big deal about getting one.
When Coaster Mars says they should put a disco car on the track, does he mean an actual disco coaster? Because that would be insane.
I thought like one that's like a disco ball with the mirrors on, so when the camera's
disco coaster is like what Cobra is, I believe, or The Edge.
Ah, you know more about the technical jargon than me, so I'll just
3 trains. No, what I was thinking, Trey, I don't know if you thought the same, but when I first heard about there's going to be 3 launches, before I saw it was launching back up a spike, I thought it was going to be like Accelerator and have a layout after the drop.
Yeah, that would have been nice too, but it's so expensive right now to do anything that I see why they didn't.
Would you rather have had them take it down and spend the money on something else? Yeah,
I would have. Yeah.
What would you have liked to have seen in that spot?
I don't know necessarily, but I mean, wait a couple years, put something actually in there, and just tear it down. I think would have been a better idea.
Just a quick shout out to Travel and Theme Park Hub. Yes, I remember him, and he was feeling oozy that day, as he says.
Ooh.
It's nothing rude. It's just code. Bit different punch in the back, but still looks really cool. What's the launch like on Top Thrill Dragster?
It was 0 to 20 in 3.2 seconds, I think.
Because I know
it was intense. Like if you had your arms up when it launched, it would hurt.
Because I know in this country in Stealth, Coaster of Wild was saying, because he went to a similar ride, Red Force in Ferrariland in Spain, and he said the launch is a higher top speed, but it's not as forceful as Stealth. And I wondered if Dragster would be the same, but it's hard to compare when I've not ridden it.
Yeah, Dragster is it's the most intense launch I've been on.
Have you been on? So you've not been on King Dakar?
No, I haven't.
Are you?
King Dakar actually accelerates slower though.
Oh, really?
Its top speed's just a little bit higher, but its actual launch track's much longer.
So, are you in a rush to ride King Dakar? Or is it not on your radar? Because are you not interested?
I would like to go out there and ride and go to ride El Toro. That's my biggest draw to go out there. King Dakar, I mean, it's basically the same thing as Top Thrill Dragster. It's, I think, 30 feet taller, so really it's not much higher than that.
I just don't feel. Are you going to ride this when it opens? I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like everyone's torn. I feel like you're not that hyped about it, and I don't get that excited by looking at it. But then there are some people in the chat that seem to think it's going to be the next Jesus. So I don't know.
If I go to Cedar Point, I'll ride it, but I'm not going to go out of my way for it.
If we rate it, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours, which is it worth?
If I went to Cedar Point at all, I'd wait 2 hours for it. But
oh, really?
Cedar Point's about a 3.5 hour drive from me, so
wow.
If I went out there, I would do it, but I have no reason to go out there, really.
So,
go on then.
well, so, wait and see the comments,
it's
but
just
I'm
flicking
flicking
through
through. Do we want to announce this Kings Island? Well, it's been announced. I'm not officially announcing it for them. But I think we saw a snippet of it when I clicked the wrong video a minute ago. But this one is the one I think might be a bit loud. But just before we say what it is, for people that don't know at home, was this what you were expecting?
I was actually expecting some stuff for the water park, because they removed a couple things this year in the water park, and they didn't plant like grass or anything. It's just dirt out there still. So I was expecting that they would start construction on something out there, but I'm very surprised to see that they haven't.
So we'll play this clip for everyone. This is the official trailer for their announcement.
I like how it looks like Snoopy's house. That's all I kept talking about. I was like, it looks like Snoopy's house. Sorry, the station bit.
I don't know if anyone caught it,
Such a
but
big kid.
the first thing I thought that stuck with me after seeing it, it's not till about halfway through, is how uncanny valley those riders look in CGI.
I know, but I was looking at that in the pictures afterwards. It's just really, they're very detailed.
The face has got me on the road.
So are you excited about this? Because obviously you've got children, so in a few years they'll be of height.
Yeah. So it looks like an okay ride. I worry about the capacity on that ride as well. I'm not a real big fan of shuttle rides at all. But that entire section of the kids area has kind of been run down for a couple of years now. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. And in the concept art, they didn't say anything about this in their official like press release and stuff. But in the concept art in the video, the roller coaster next to it there, it's yellow and orange currently. So it looks like they're maybe going to repaint it and retheme it. And then maybe make a little bit of a micro section in their main kids section.
Make it look like brand new with a different paint job sort of thing.
Yeah, which they just repainted it like 2 years ago to yellow and orange again. So I don't know why they would do it again, but it might just be to make the pictures look good for now. They might not be doing it.
Hey, there we go. Well, so the actual cars are themed like soapbox races from the cartoon.
Sorry if that sounded loud. I'm near the microphone, but I thought it was cute.
This is going to sound silly, maybe. In the States, is Snoopy still shown on TV a lot?
Not on TV. Around like Christmas, they play like the holiday specials, the Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas special. But other than that, like Snoopy's not really that popular anymore. I think it's just a cheaper IP that Cedar Fair's bought the rights to. But
Kirsten with Marsh put good gravy, and then Kirsten with the Joneses mentioned about his daughter saying that told to look up Snoopy on YouTube and didn't have no idea who it was. # bad parenting. Oh.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought good gravy immediately.
Is that from the show?
I think it is, yeah.
Is that a saying they used in the show?
When they used to like good gravy.
I don't know much about Snoopy. I know who Snoopy
Peanuts.
is. I know Woodstock, and I know it's called Peanuts. Yeah,
and Peanuts, yeah. That's what.
Good Gravy is the ride that Holiday World announced like last week.
Oh, okay.
It's almost exactly the same.
I'm sure Charlie out of that show said "good gravy" when he was really angry with something, but maybe I've got that wrong there. Good grief. Yeah, maybe that's where I've got it muddled up then.
So I don't know what everyone thinks in the audience at home, but I've never been a big fan of boomerang coasters. Although there's been a lot of new ones recently in Europe. I don't know what Trey thinks.
I worry about the capacity on them, and I worry that they're building way too many of them because boomerang coasters are known for having reliability issues as well. And it seems like every ride they're building right now is a boomerang or some kind of shuttle.
I mean, I'm interested in the concept.
Top Thrill Dragster is going to be a boomerang.
Yeah, exactly. That's
This
what
is
I
a
thought.
boomerang. Holiday World's doing a boomerang. SeaWorld just built a boomerang.
Just thought because you travel so far, let's put one in every single park and just go
Yeah.
for it.
I didn't plan on talking about 2 boomerangs today, but I got excited and Trey said Kings Island are putting out announcements. So I was like, we can talk about it. And then, I mean, it's good.
I was going to think of a pun and I thought, no, I'm not going to.
You can do if you want.
Like boom, boom, shake, shake the boom. Boomerang, boomerang,
Could do.
boomerang.
I've actually ridden the first.
Sorry. That was bad.
I've actually ridden the first boomerang that ever opened. It was in Belgium. I think it was Belouiard. And it was the second one ever made, but there was one in Mexico, I believe, and it got delayed. So the second one ever made was the first one to ever open. And that was, so I've been on it. I don't think it's there anymore. That's a little fact.
Boomerang, like Wipeout.
Yeah, like
Pleasurable
Wipeout, Pleasurable Hills.
So I'm happy to say I've been on that, but it originally was called Missile American Adventure.
Talking about Wipeout quickly, have you ever had a park in the States that you've been to, sort of in a residential area maybe, that's actually had signs on a roller coaster that tells you, please don't scream because of the neighbors, basically?
When I worked at Kings Island, we would have ride nights afterwards, and we had neighbors behind us that had been there since before the park opened, and they had like noise abatement rules with the park, and they would tell us not to scream on those rides nights or they closed the rides. So that's the only time I've ever seen that.
How do they police that? I'm just intrigued.
They would, if that family calls like the police will just call and shut it down for the night.
Oh my gosh, that's just rude.
Anything outside of the normal park hours.
Oh.
Have you worked at any other parks other than
just Kings Island? Are
we allowed to ask about your times there, or?
Yeah, it's been forever now, so anything's on the table for that.
I'm just wondering, as I didn't know you'd actually worked there.
Like, well,
in case you're going to talk, I don't want to talk over you. I didn't know you actually worked there, but I'm just wondering, have you got any funny stories about, like, I don't know, really, like silly things that have happened with guests or they've come out with, or just things that stick out? I'm just intrigued now.
Out of the ordinary.
Nothing off the top of my head, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long did you work there for?
I worked there for 4 seasons.
Okay.
I bet you had loads of people that have like lost their phones and stuff on rides
all the time.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. I'm thinking like I bet you get absolutely loads because they allow it a bit more, I think, across the pond than us, because we're just like, just don't have your phone out, full stop.
Well, Cedar Fair doesn't allow them at all. Like the company that owns Kings Island does not allow it at all. But people still do it and lose them.
Oh, yeah, just mentioning Mandrill.
It says we love Mandrill, but not a fan of boomerangs in general. They are always just meh.
Have you seen Mandrill Mayhem, Trey? Do you know?
I think I've seen it, but it's slipping my mind right now.
It's this new World of Jumanji at Chessington, which is near London, and they've got a B&M Wing Rider boomerang coaster.
Really, it's a boomerang? I think I've seen I think I saw the concept art when they first announced that, but I don't think I've actually seen.
It kind of slightly accelerates out the station up a spike, I believe, and then the scorpion spike, and then. But the back row is backwards as well.
We'll hopefully get a trip down one day. Or there is people on here that have got their own little vlogs as well that have got Mandrill Mayhem on there as well.
Coast for the Joneses have got it. Yeah, Coast for the Smile have got it. All the people with coasting in the name.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hush Hush family.
It's worth looking at.
Go soon. But
anyone else in the chat got any questions as well? Just ask away.
We
appreciate your coming in as well. So give us a like.
I was going to. So do you want to have a go at this quiz? I think you're going to ace it, to be fair, Trey.
I hope so.
It's similar to one we had last week. It's I've got some American coasters with alternate letters missing. So we'll have a go.
People in the chat can contribute as well.
Let's see.
Oh
here.
my gosh.
Yeah, I'm lost on all of them, actually.
Oh, really?
Like none just jump out at me at all.
Is there...
I think you'll know the grey one.
The grey one.
Look near the bottom right.
Oh, that's the Beast.
Yeah. I was so happy when you mentioned that earlier.
That's actually where I worked all my time at Kings Island.
What's your number one bucket list coaster?
Oh.
Probably Formula Rosa. I'd like to do actually probably the one they're building at Six Flags in Abu Dhabi right now, Falcon's Flight. I'd like to go ride once they get it open there.
Have you got one in the States that you're?
I'd like to ride like Intimidator 305. I haven't been to King's Dominion yet, so I'd like to go there and ride that. And also, I'd like to go to Carowinds and ride Fury.
What is your? Do you do a coaster count at the moment?
So I was looking at this a couple weeks ago, and it's just above 100. I'm kind of, if you count the way most people do, it's probably about 110. But I'm kind of more strict with what I count as a roller coaster.
Did you start counting like after you'd actually been on a lot, and now you're wondering if you've missed out some that you can't remember? Because that's why I never started a count, because I got to the point where I'm like, hang on, oh yeah, I did that one and that one, and I'm just like, it's too much effort for me. I don't know if you found the same when you started, or did you start counting from the start?
Started counting from like an early age, probably when I was like 12, but then when I was probably about 19, I stopped for a couple years and rode a lot of rides. I didn't keep track of them, but I was able to go back through and figure out which ones I had rode and put them in my count.
Ben and Holly's put Falcon's Flight looks absolutely nuts.
It does look very intense. I don't know. They're building it currently, but I don't know if it'll ever open.
I don't know if you want to keep them secret or not, but Discover Explorers have asked what are some of your future videos.
So right now, I'm currently working on a video about Taft Broadcasting Company and their theme parks. So they opened Kings Island, Kings Dominion, and Canada's Wonderland. So just the things they learned while they were building the parks and the differences in them, and then when they sold off to Paramount, how that went.
Have you got any plans for any like specific ones about a specific defunct ride that's not around anymore? Or?
So I'm definitely gonna make some defunct rides, but I don't have any plans right now too.
And before we go back to the quiz, what's your favourite Woody from Coastal with the Joneses?
The Beast at Kings Island.
Yeah. I say a lot of I think it's European Coaster Club. They visited the Megaphobia in Oakwood as well. Speaking of wooden coasters,
Megaphobia is all right. It looks great.
It's nice.
Till you ride the bit
intense.
that's out of eye shot behind the trees, and it looks like someone just built it in a big garden.
Yeah,
it's like just in the middle of a field. I thought it'd be
I just
between the
love
trees.
wooden roller coasters in general.
Yeah,
That's one thing I was lucky to grow up near Kings Island, because Kings Island has the most wooden roller coasters and the most wooden roller coaster track in the entire world.
I can't explain it. It's the sounds and everything for me with the wooden coasters, and I'm like,
how do you feel about RMC?
So I like RMC. I mean, most of the rides they've done have been super rundown rides that shouldn't be open anymore. But I think they're a little overrated.
It's not a real Woody.
Definitely the hybrids aren't wooden roller coasters, but they're still fun rides.
Does anyone in the chat want to have a go?
So we got Iron Gwazi on there.
Yeah, he's got it. You're going to go through all these, I think, Trey.
I don't know.
If anyone in the chat wants to contribute, they can. Or if
is that Diamondback the second one?
What's that?
Is that Diamondback?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I literally don't know.
Well, they're all in the States. I hope they're all still... I think they're all still operational.
What?
Noise of the Wood.
Noise of the Wooden Lift Hills.
Can't be.
I don't know if Trey agrees with that.
I do agree with that.
I get flashbacks of Wicker Man. You go right under the lift hill.
Yeah.
And it's just really loud.
Because it's the queue lines underneath it, and it's just... I'd love to get like a decibel counter.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of the... Wickerman's a GCI, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Those GCIs are just so loud. I think they're the loudest wooden roller coasters.
I think it's just the fact that there's like... It looks like there's a bit of slack in the chain as well, like the pulling chain. But I think when you hear that, then obviously it adds more to the volume of it, I think. But
yeah.
Maybe I made this too difficult this week. I sometimes I feel like I make them too difficult.
I feel like I'm stumped.
Is that Boulder Dash?
Twisted Timbers.
Yeah, it's Boulder Dash.
I see Twisted Timbers.
Boulder Dash. Stacey got it.
Twisted Timbers.
Twisted Timbers. Yeah.
I was looking at that one for ages, and I just looked at the other one. Said Boulder Dash.
Oh, Coastal with the Joneses.
Silver Bullet.
which
Where's that
ironically
one?
isn't silver. It's bottom. It's
Bottom.
covered up by
Oh
his
yeah,
comment.
the bottom left. Yeah, hang on a minute. It's the S something Y something U something H. I don't know.
I think the purple one is fairly obvious if you know.
Something A something O. Halo?
No.
I don't know why. I'm just guessing the random word.
Where's the purple one at?
I'm sure it's at one of the SeaWorlds, isn't it?
Oh, it's Mako.
Yeah, it's Mako, yeah.
Is that the
Is
one
that
with
lightning rod?
Yeah, lightning rod. He's getting them now. He's getting in the swing of it now. So we got the black one and the light blue one.
light blue one's the one just
They're the only two left
the
that no
bottom
one's.
left, is it?
Light blue on the left and the black and white one on the left near the top.
Okay.
Ooh. Maybe I took out the wrong letters. Maybe it would have been easier if I was holding it the other way.
Something guy.
No. I can't tell you what it is because then you'd. It's pretty obvious if I tell you what one of the words is.
Oh.
You made this too hard.
I know. Anyone in the comments have a clue? Because this is quite a toughie.
I can't remember what part.
Something U, something L, something W. Hollow? No, not hollow, because there's a U.
What's it start with? What's the black one start with? What's the first letter?
Yeah.
Oh. Outlaw Run.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I never get that.
And then the blue one's the last one?
Yeah, the one's the last one, yeah.
Say, soy. Sil. The
first word is sky.
Sky Rush.
Yeah, he's got it. Well, they're all American coasters, to be fair.
Mike's just pointing at the ceiling in front of me,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
flapping my
"What?"
wings.
In case you could hear like a pen ticking, he's like, "I look up," and I'm like, "What am I looking at? Ceiling? It's not ceiling."
Ceiling.
He's like, going,
he did all right, I thought. Did you want to talk? I wanted to ask a bit actually about. I've got some of the rides on the screen there. Holiday World. Have you visited Holiday World a lot? Was it a thing you did a lot as a kid?
I've been there twice. So when we worked at Kings Island, we actually got into Holiday World for free.
Okay.
They had like kind of they would let them come to Kings Island for free. We could go there for free. So I went there once, and then we went there once for a camping trip. But we were actually there the day that somebody died on the voyage. When they had the heart attack on there.
I shouldn't have brought that up probably, but I didn't know.
"Oh, sorry."
But
I was going to ask about mainly, well, people, I'm going to ask anything they want as well, but I was just going to ask about the theme. So the theming, I thought it was such a cool idea. And for anyone at home who doesn't know, that different holidays in each area, although for some reason, unless they've done it recently, they never are aware of Easter. Easter's not a thing.
I think Easter's probably coming soon.
You think so?
They've got a lot of space there. It's a very interesting layout of a park. I don't know if you've ever seen like a map of it, but they have like the Christmas part when you first come in. Immediately after that, Halloween, 4th of July section. Trying to think what else I got up there. I think that's it. And then you walk this long pathway back to the Thanksgiving area, and it's just so spread out in that back area. I feel like they have some room to put like a little Easter off to the side.
It just goes to with the Joneses put Christmas dinner in August. Nothing wrong with that.
I haven't got any
Nothing
photos, but people can YouTube it. But I thought it was always intriguing, the dark ride, if it's still there, that they've got in the Thanksgiving
The Gobbler
section.
Getaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very fun. It's still there. It's actually a newer ride. Probably the last 10 years they put that in. But it's a very entertaining, very fun.
Do you want to explain a
ride
bit
to
of
go
it
on.
for our audience at home?
Yeah, so you're going through. I forget if you're hunting the turkey or if you are the turkey, but it's kind of just like a Thanksgiving themed ride. Very old school style dark ride.
It's a blaster ride for people.
Yeah, blaster ride. Yeah.
But if
the guns
you go
never
on
work.
YouTube, yeah, it's a great little ride. The art style, but I just thought, I can't believe I suppose it's in America, but it's all, like I said, it just stands out. It's like, oh, where's Easter? And there's no Easter.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I think it'll eventually happen there.
You ever St. Patrick's Day one?
No, they don't have St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. I was like, well, no, 'cause a lot of it encouraged drinking, wouldn't it? But I don't know. I just thought I'm just curious.
And
I was like, what the no.
And is Raven still? I can't remember what it's got it written outside the park. Don't they make a claim it's like the most intense roller coaster or the best roller coaster in the world?
It was voted the best wooden roller coaster so many years in a row. But Holiday World, they had the Raven first, I'm pretty sure, and it was the best roller coaster for like 10 years in a row. Then they opened the Legend, and it was the best roller coaster like 10 years in a row. And now they have the Voyage, which I believe the Voyage is still voted the best wooden roller coaster in the world.
Oh, it's amazing.
And where would you rate? Would you rate highly of Thunderbird?
Thunderbird, it's the best winged roller coaster I've been on.
Yeah. How many have you been on?
I think 3. I've been on Wild Eagle at Dollywood, Gatekeeper at Cedar Point, and then Thunderbird.
So that would be Gatekeeper for you.
Yeah.
So I think I've not been on Gatekeeper, but it looks just, over the entrance, it looks impressive. But
it's the worst winged roller coaster I've been on, which isn't. They're all 3 really good rides, but I think that Thunderbird's just a really good ride. Wild Eagle has a really good terrain that it goes over. It's a very nice ride, and then Gatekeeper, you have the keyholes, and that's pretty much it.
Are you a fan of head chopper moments on roller coasters, or is that a thing you're not?
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. The Thunderbird actually has some pretty good head chopper. You go through a couple barns, and it's pretty nice. Put your hands down for a second.
Oh, are you hands up all the way then?
On newer rides. Some rides, I think in the 80s they made it a law here in the States where you had to have so much clearance above. But like the Beast at Kings Island, there's parts of it that if you have your hands up, you will lose your hands.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think there's, in the helix at the end, when you first go into the first tunnel, there's only, I think, 17 inches between the top of the seat and the side of the tunnel.
So is that because it was built before a certain time, so it's allowed?
Yeah, it was built before a certain time, and then the Beast at Kings Island was also built in-house, so it kind of had some things that were kind of skipped as they were building it. So it's not an off-the-shelf ride.
Are you a fan of drop towers?
I'll ride them. I'm not a huge... if I ride a drop tower one time, I'm pretty much done with it, but...
Have you got a favorite?
A favorite one? Probably the one at Kings Island. I think it's the tallest one I've been on. But I wanted to ride the one at Busch Gardens in Tampa. It's Falcons. I think it's called Falcons Flight, or Falcons Fury, where you face down.
Oh, you'd be up for that, would you?
I would, yeah. I'd do it one time at least. I don't know if I'd like it, but I'd do it once at least.
I'm not a big fan of drop towers myself. I don't know about you.
I'd happily go on a drop tower.
I don't mind shot towers.
Even standing up ones.
Just the drop towers, I don't like. That.
I'd happily
being
go
stuck
on
at the top and then.
But it kind of has that same problem that the teacups have, where you wait 45 minutes for a 2-second ride.
I don't know. Apart from the height of summer, looking at it now, if you were to come over here anytime in the height of summer, you'd probably be forgiven for thinking theme parks aren't a big thing in this country, because I'd say queue-wise, we get off pretty lightly. Apart from August and July, it's pretty good. It's not more than half an hour usually.
Yeah, it's just like school, like term time, like vacations and things like school holidays and things like that. That's when it gets quite crowded. But yeah, but then it's always the bit just before like the children break up for the holidays. Then a lot of the classes then go for like day tripping to go, hey, have a treat, let's go to a theme park, and it's like,
oh yeah, they have all the school trips the week before
so
summer vacation.
We avoid the month if we can, just
Kings
because
Island
it's going to be a class worth.
They used to have webcams that showed the parking lot. You'd see it full of school buses and know it wasn't a good day to go.
Yeah, basically. Or someone's been, and we're just like, yeah.
So people had access to that, or was that just for staff?
No, that was it was on their website. They've gotten rid of it now, I'm pretty sure, but they used to have it.
I was going to say that wouldn't be good for business for people.
Well, they've removed the wait times from the app unless you're in the park on their Wi-Fi, so you can't even see the wait times unless you're at the park.
Yeah, they've done
That's
that.
quite cheeky, isn't it?
They've done that on the apps for Alton Towers, I think the other Melon
I
Parks.
think they're
But
cheeky when
as soon as
do
they did that, people online found a workaround to go to a certain part of the app.
There's a couple of apps now or websites now where people will post the wait times.
I don't see what the problem is. People not at the park seeing the wait times.
I
think
guess people
Oh,
wouldn't
sorry.
come to the parks and buy stuff and spend money on it.
See, I think people are trying to find consistencies and go, okay, well, if there's not many people and there's big queues at this time of day, I'll go that time of day, sort of thing. That day of the week, sorry.
I don't know it's the way I am, but I don't know. Trey, would you ever visit a park halfway through the? I'm the kind of guy who will go for the day and start in the morning, but I don't. Would you ever visit halfway through the day?
Oh yeah, like Cedar Fair has food plans now on your annual passes, so I'll go just for 30 minutes and get some food and ride one ride and leave. But I think if it wasn't for that, I would have to go for at least a half a day.
So does that annual pass cover all that in the chain?
So you can buy. They have the gold. Well, they're changing it now, but in the past they've had the gold passes for each individual park, or you could buy a platinum pass that was like $200 more, and it would cover all 17 locations. But if you live near multiple locations, it's worth it for you. I really only live near Kings Island, and Cedar Point's the next closest one, and it's 3 hours away, so I don't splurge on the platinum pass. I just stick with the gold.
How long's a long drive for you? If you what would it be like 2 hours, or it's 3 hours, or more than that? Or
so if I'm driving more than 3 hours, I'm gonna have to get a hotel for the night. But I'll drive. I mean, we drive to Florida at least twice a year, and it's a 13-hour drive. So,
jeez,
wow.
Is that how many stops is that? Did you stop on the way, or do you just do it in a day?
Usually just one or two stops. But we'll just go do it in one day. We won't. We'll just drive straight through.
Oh, you've done so well there, because I would not manage that.
I'm trying to think. Even if we
get all the energy
even
drinks
if we drove
we get, and I'll
from
be
the
like,
top
no,
of
I'm
Scotland,
done.
from the top of Scotland to the bottom of England, it probably would only be about. Probably do that in 5-6 hours.
It tired me out with my friend getting to Scotland all the way from Sheffield, and that took like 6 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was like, oh, I think I'm done.
Customer Jones says, how do you rate Steel Vengeance?
Steel Vengeance, it was definitely a 10 out of 10. I think they've kind of slowed it down since I wrote it the first year it opened. I haven't been back since, but I think they've kind of slowed it down since then. So I can't speak to it now, but it was definitely a 10 out of 10 at the time.
Have you had any coasters that either the first time you rode it, it wasn't great, but now over time you actually like it a lot more than you used to, or vice versa, where you rode it the first time and it wasn't, you thought it was great, and then now you're kind of like...
I rode Icebreaker at SeaWorld, and the first time I rode it, I had a really good ride on it, but I've ridden it 3 or 4 times since, and I think it's the worst ride to ever be constructed anywhere. It's just an awful restraints, awful ride. It's terrible.
Oh, really? 14 hours? John O'Groats?
Oh, gosh.
Well, I was wrong. It didn't seem like that. It would take that long, but...
I think the farthest you can drive in the U.S. from like Maine to Los Angeles would be like 35 hours.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'd get a hotel in between.
Have you been on Route 66?
I have not. I want to do it. My wife doesn't want to, but if we ever go to Los Angeles, because we want to do Disneyland in the next couple of years, if we ever do that, I want to do Route 66 on the way.
Oh yeah, that's a good compliment.
It's going to sound like a stupid question. It is a big thing that a lot of Americans want to do.
It used to be. It's not really anymore. Once they built all the highways, Route 66 is kind of just a ghost town mostly.
So I wasn't sure if it was just like people abroad are like, oh, that's a big thing in America, let's go do it, or whether it was actually Americans who wanted to do it as well.
I'd say there's a small section of Americans now that still want to do it.
I'm sorry, Kirsty with the Joneses has found out how many days it takes to
days,
walk
yeah.
as well. Of that previous statement.
You got to be committed for that.
You got to have legs of steel.
Knott's Berry Farm has some good coasters too out in California. Have you been to Knott's Berry Farm?
I have not. I've never been to California before, actually.
I was going to ask, have you actually seen Carpetbagger along the way? But I don't know if many people know him.
I know Carpetbagger, yeah. I've never met him before, but he was at Kings Island at one point on a day that I wasn't working, but I probably would have met him if I was there that day.
I'd be there going, can I get a photo? I'd be nerding out like
Just
I'm such a big fan.
He just did a video last week on the American Sign Museum actually.
Oh, he's seeing your stuff and you're
I think he's copying me, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice.
I was going to ask Discover Explorers if they're still in the chat. Have you been to Not Scary Farm? And what's that like? Somehow takes one day on the train. There you go. It's all a conspiracy. It takes 1 day on the train apparently. It takes 5 hours to get from Edinburgh to like London. So
it would take a long time to ride a train anywhere in the US.
Oh.
Well, it would over here as well. They're on strike at the moment.
I think I'd like to travel by trebuchet at this rate. I think that would be...
So with going back to the signs a minute, are you into any sort of restoration yourself, or do you buy any of that kind of stuff?
I don't buy any of that kind of stuff. I definitely am interested in it. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to buy a PTC train, and it got sold from underneath me. I was really upset about it, but it was 2 lead cars, and I would have restored one and kept the other one the way it came.
That'd have been cool. Oh. You're right, mate.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I'm just asking about the signs as well. I just wonder. So you're not really into restoring it, even though you would have restored the train.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if that was what led you to the museum.
No, my wife just wanted to go, honestly, and we went. So
is she a fan of big roller coasters?
Not really. She worked at Kings Island also, but
is that where you met?
That's where we met. Yeah. She's hard to convince to get on rides. She still hasn't ridden like Diamondback and stuff at Kings Island. She won't ride anything tall, but I slowly got her on to go a little bit more intense rides slowly over the years.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe when your little one's bigger, she'll probably like get more confidence when.
Hopefully, it'd be nice.
Yeah, when a little one goes with her, with her and stuff. But it's like, oh, but my daughter's going, I'll go on too, sort of thing.
Oh, she's kind of missed it out a bit, but you can make out a little
bit
there.
Sorry, it was just so cute. Oh, they're so smiley. But yeah.
Yeah, some other signs.
The signs are quite cool. I wonder if they did did they even go through like how they did the printing and everything for the signage? I'm sorry if I'm going back to the signage thing. But...
Yeah, they have little little cards about it, and a lot of these windows in the this little storefront area right here.
Yeah.
They have like a lot of like the repair kits and manufacturing kits they would use to make the signs.
That's cool. Oh, I'd love to have like a neon light and be like.
I wouldn't trust them for fire hazards. Have you got any in your house, Trey?
I don't have any. They're so expensive. I mean, I can't afford any of that. Because like if you want like a small neon sign, just like a little small like bar sign or something, it's gonna be like $500 here.
Yeah.
Is that to buy one custom made or to just buy one?
No, that's just to buy.
Oh, really?
A used one, yeah. They're expensive.
Because I wasn't sure about the running cost of it. That's what I was more worried about.
Oh, yeah, that'd be expensive too, I'm sure. A lot of the newer ones are probably cheaper, but the older ones, I'm sure they take a lot of electric.
I don't know if this is true. I don't know if some people like 3D print like clear acrylic or something and put them together with like LED lights in and then make it look like a neon sign, but it's not actually a neon sign.
Acrylic not so fire?
It depends what type of acrylic you'd use. I'm trying to think of the other one for it that doesn't, because ABS reacts with like heat, but I don't think acrylic has to reach a higher temperature. Sorry, I'm just being really nerdy again.
Before we start to wind down, I'm just wondering, Trey, have you got, not necessarily to hand, don't rush off if you haven't got it to hand, have you got any bits of theme park merchandise that are rare or unique, or you?
You have to forgive me a minute. I just need to get to the lower.
I think I got some stuff here. I'm making a mess. So this right here, it's a bolt from Son of Beast.
So did you actually buy that from? Was that for sale, or did you get that other means?
I got it from the gravel at Kings Island.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They had tore it down probably 2 or 3 years before I started working there.
Oh, right.
But there's still, I mean, still to this day, just pieces of wood sitting there. And then back here, gonna pull you to the side. Sorry. This is a piece of the beast. So they did some retracking where they replaced some metal, and they maintenance guy gave this to me there. But it's I think it's the upstop track for underneath. I don't think it's a top track. But then I have some other. I don't think I have anything in here, but I have some pieces from Tomb Raider: The Ride and a couple other things.
Oh, see, I'd love to see you do a video on that.
See, I never wrote it when it was Tomb Raider. I wrote it after it got the IP.
When it got most of the effects turned off. And what was that like going through that queue line? Because the queue line was still kept, wasn't it, with all the theming?
The queue line's still there. They use it for a Halloween.
Oh, they use it for a maze.
Yeah, but it was a fun ride. I got stuck on it the one time I rode it, so it kind of soured it for me, and then it closed about 2 months after that. But it was a huge ride. I've been in that building a couple times with the lights on since, and it's just a huge building.
It's insane. I'm not going to try and describe it for people at home. I'm sure there are some YouTube stuff. I'd like to see you do it one day, maybe, but I don't know.
So it's very hard to find any videos of the ride actually running. But if people go on YouTube and they look up the King's Dominion version of the ride, it's the same ride, but it's outdoors. And it's a much smaller version of the ride, but it gives you kind of an idea of what the ride cycle is like.
And I don't know if anyone's got any questions before we want to wrap it up, but have you got anything you want to promote?
So I'll have a podcast coming out soon. That'll be on Spotify, so I'll have the link posted on my Instagram here pretty soon. But everyone follow me on Instagram. That's my main social media, and then my YouTube. I'm thinking about starting a TikTok, but I'm not a big fan of TikTok, so I don't know if I'll use it or not.
No, I don't. You saw that out, didn't you?
I'm so sorry. I can't get my head around it.
I know we've got Trey.
I think it's good for like organic growth, but it's just so time consuming.
I don't know. I'm not good with videos. Mike's the one with the video situation.
I'm going to get the blame now if anything's wrong.
No. But anything I try and find that we've got footage wise, I'll try and put on, but I'm not consistent with it. So
yeah,
I feel like I need to get.
It's too many channels.
More
it's like
time to do it.
I have so many videos that I've taken over the past couple years that just sit there because I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what I should post them on, and I'm about to just post everything raw and just put it online.
It might work out.
Sometimes I've put like little things to say like, oh, this is the live, or just look at what we've got. Sometimes I've put things off of my Instagram and then just stuck it on and gone, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's just like a little dump, something extra on there, but I know people can utilize it a lot better than me. So
do you know
sorry about that.
Do you know what's coming on next week?
No.
We've got Haley and Emma are coming back on from last week, and Coast for the Joneses. It's the third Thursday of the month, so it's the lounge episode.
My gosh,
we've got some beer reviews, and we take a bit of a sideways look at some of the theme park news over the last month, but also
Crazy Golf.
I'll come up with a funky name for it, but we're doing. I don't know if it's probably not a thing in the States, but there used to be a show on TV here. It still is on TV, I think, called Room 101, and we're doing like a theme park version of that next week with these guys coming on, so that'll be quite fun.
I think that would be very interesting to see.
But no, if the comments are all right, we might wind up there. But I've enjoyed having you on because you're in the chat every week. It's nice.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, it's been nice.
You pay it forward. But what I'll do is I'll get the link for your Spotify podcasts and I'll put it in the description. So if you're watching this on catch up, you'll be able to go straight to it.
So I keep reading you in the chat, see if there's anything else. Any last minute questions or anything, you're quite welcome to put them in now. But I think that is it. But we have been to lots of different places, haven't we, dear? So
yeah,
recently.
I suppose it's a good problem to have. I've got about 5 vlogs that aren't edited yet of places we've been.
Mm-hmm.
Send at a time.
So if there's things that I keep posting on my Instagram and it's not quite out on our blog yet, I keep saying it's coming soon because it does. Good things take time, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we just like to take our
I appreciate you coming on the show. And for people at home who don't know, the Reds logo is Cincinnati Reds, a baseball team. So that's why I put that in there.
That's cool.
Soon to be last place.
Oh.
You can't do any worse than the Rockies.
You can.
Do
I
the
think in the
Rockies
last 10
get
games, the
run-ons?
Rockies probably done better than the Reds have. The Reds can only beat the Dodgers for some reason. I don't know why not. Why they can't beat anybody else.
Oh, thanks, Coasters with More.
So, go check him out. He came on a couple of weeks
I
ago.
hope you had a couple more subscribers as well, bless you. So
What I'll do is
I have
actually,
to keep
I
posting
know
about
this has
that.
kind of hijacked this episode. He didn't get 100 subs in time. So what I might do a giveaway next week, but as a bit of a kind of thing on the end of it, because he didn't get the 100 subs in time, I might do a giveaway, but I'm not posting the prizes. You'll have to just be at Alton Towers when I am, and I'll give them to you. And that's kind of the midway I'm going with that.
Mysterious.
It saves me money.
Postage, yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Do you know our catchphrase before we go?
I do.
Oh, you know? Oh,
I do. I know it's a rarity for someone to know it.
Yay!
Did you want to say it before we go?
Yeah. We'll see you in the rear view, because for now, we're gone.
Yeah.